Hello. Welcome to episode 1117,000 of Doing a Music with Adam. Today we're going to talk about one of my tracks. It's called Allergic to Feelings. I'm going to start at the middle of this song. Check it out. Classic middle of a song, metal breakdown. Right off the bat, full disclosure, I borrowed this rhythm scheme from Conan the Barbarian, original movie soundtrack. Alternating bars of 5 and 6. I just thought it was a cool rhythmic idea. Conan's pretty metal, so there you go. After we have this building ostinato kind of section, we get into what I like to call Rocky Balboa meets Conan the Barbarian. Some brass comes in. French horns kind of leading the way, and then there's some lows, like and then the trumpets. Can I be honest? This is one of my favorite things that I've written ever. The rest of the song is in kind of a minor key, kind of dark. And then here we get into this like major key. It ticks all my boxes. It's got the melodic elements, the harmonized guitar solo. That should be number one. That's always number one. If you're not going to record harmonized guitar solos, why do you even own guitars? It's got the cool rhythmic background. It's got the weird spacey effects. Like this is it. So let's take a look at what's going on with these guitars. Double tracked, and each one also has this sad little, it's just the DI, but it's super compressed, and I find it gives a little more of the pick attack on the note. So it's cool to keep that in, blend it just real slightly. And then I also have this weird outer space Mega Man pitch shift thing going on. And I felt like that just helped for the solo to cut through everything that's going on behind it. So it just added a lot of top ends and just this cool like kind of warbly effect. Underneath that, let's talk rhythm guitars. So I got 3 parts. First one, kind of mid-heavy. Then the second one comes in right here. A lot more bottom end, right? Rounding out the sound. And then we also have, because why not, we have an 8-string guitar for moments like this. Total impulse buy from Craigslist, and I'm really glad I got it. It's 2 strings below your standard 6-string tuning, a B and an F sharp. The F sharp gets kind of farty and gross and sometimes unusable, but man, that B string is real nice to have for moments like that when you need like some real low voicing of a power chord, especially in this style of music. Let's talk about bass and drums. This is Addictive Drums, so these are our MIDI virtual instrument. And the reason for that is when I started writing this tune, I didn't have the studio space that I have now. And for a lot of the process, we were even moving houses and moving across country and everything. So I had used the Addictive Drums as kind of a placeholder for the demo and just for writing purposes. And I just liked the way it sounded and I got used to it and it works great. So get off my case. I did make one rule that I would not program anything that I could not physically play myself. So it's basically like I'm playing it. It's fine. Everything's fine. And then bass, let's check this out. At the time, I was into this thing where I'm feeding the audio signal from the bass splitting it 3 ways. So I have this, just the low end, super low pass, doing just like the sub frequencies. Then I have this real mid-focused, kind of fuzzy. It's got a distortion pedal on it. And then a third that's just running through a guitar amp. And it's kind of hard to hear. And that's real distorted, and that's real low in the mix, but betwixt the 3 of them, you get a nice heavy bass tone. Just a little bit of fuzz on top. And in this style of music, the heaviness isn't so much coming from turning up the gain on the guitars. It's coming more from putting a little fuzz on the bass. And that really helps it to get that heavy tone that we want in heavy music, right? So something noticeable about this solo section, is that it's a real big texture change from the sections on either side of it. In the beginning and the end of the song, it's real synth heavy, a lot of weirdness. We get back to that here in just a second. But for this one part of the song, it's just guitar, bass, drums, kind of strict rock band. And like I said, the tonality change from minor to major gives this section a lot of contrast. So I think that works really well. So we get back to, this is like the intro of the song. Coming back. A lot of weird swirly delays, a lot of reverse stuff. The centerpiece of this is this drum loop, and this is kind of where the song actually started. I just had this little groove in my head, and then I layered in a bunch of phaser, running it in reverse. It's fun, right? So then after we get through this spacey weirdness, we get back to what I would call the verse or the A section. Minor key, and what's that you say? A pedal steel in a metal song? Nay. It's a virtual pedal steel. And a friend of mine who is a very accomplished professional steel player, when I shared this with him, said, I love that that exists. I hate it. I've also layered it because I like layering sounds. I've coupled that steel with this sweet little synth kind of sound, and then a much more abrasive synth. When we put them all together, we get the steel swoopiness, but then we get the synth spaciness. Now we're in like a B section, and speaking of layering, what I'm doing here is layering that guitar harmony with these two super 80s synth sounds. So all together adds this cool texture for the lead voices. Just something different. Again, when you're working with instrumental music, and especially in the context of a metal band, or even though it's all just me, I didn't want it all to be just all guitar all the way through, always with the melody, right? So any way that I could find to either layer sounds in or use synths instead of guitars, I tried to take advantage of that on this collection of songs. So, all right, we're getting through the B section. We're heading into the outro. Since I wanted to finish off with a bang, I did 2 things here. I added both strings and it looks like 3, count them, 3 tracks of organ. Let's see what that sounds like. So the strings are just kind of blending with the guitars and the keys, but this organ, kind of like a mellow, fuzzy sort of thing, but layered with full-on church organ kind of thing. So when we put all that together, we get this huge bombastic ending. and some more spacey weirdness at the end. And that's it. That's a song. That's how you do songs, kids. You can check out this song as well as all of my other solo works on any of the platforms where you listen to things. This is from an album called Brain Snacks, and the track itself is called Allergic to Feelings. Hope you enjoy it. Thanks for listening. Love you. Bye.